Hi, welcome to my National History Day project. My name is Mathen Lemon, and in this brief documentary, we will go over the frontier that was crossed in the 19th century. This was the mass immigration to California due to the craze for the golden nugget and the prosperity that came along with it. Let's rush back and dig into where it all started.
It was a regular day in 1848, creeping up into the second month of the year. A man named James Marshall was working per usual until he discovered shiny little flakes of gold sparkling in the sun. It was located at John Sutter's mill, and just as fast as it was found, it spread nationwide. With more gold being discovered, it spread to the city of Los Angeles. Then soon, hordes of men abandoned home to shoot for the mines. Following this, overseas islands and states that had contact with California began to chip in. Immigrants coming from Hawaii, Chile, China, and of course, Mexico. In fact, a large portion came from Mexico, but we'll speak more on that later. Just as more immigrants filtered in, the economy and overall prosperity of California began to skyrocket, faster than any state before in the US. Along with new people came new ideas, ideologies, and even new technological advancements. Black, white, or brown, you could find all sorts of people working together as a team for the golden nugget. Despite the city being once vacant of the business workers, the new state still had huge economic development and growth due to the large population and the riches of gold. As the years passed, the value of gold and the rate of discovery began to lower, but the state continued to be highly populated, stable, and, as mentioned before, prosperous. Now let's run it back before the gold rush. Remember how I mentioned a large amount of the immigrants being Mexican? In fact, a large portion came from Mexico, but we'll speak more on that later. Well, just a few weeks before the gold rush occurred, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was the succession of over half of Mexican territory ceded after the loss of Mexico in the Mexican-American War, which was fought from 1846 to 1848. The war was caused by the Texas independence movement, in which Texas declared independence and joined the United States. This led to a situation where Mexico and the United States claimed the same territory at the same time. Eager to expand, President Polk declared war on the Mexican Empire. After a highly successful war, the following territories were ceded: California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, in parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Wyoming. Without the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, the California Gold Rush most likely wouldn't have occurred or has been as popular as it was. What's so relevant about this topic? Why do I consider it such a big frontier in our history? Was the gold really that valuable? Or was it mishyped by the desperate people? According to Thornton McElroy's account, he came down with a terrible illness, which came very near putting me under the sod. Along with this, he had made in the month of December between $300 and $400, which in total is not very much compared to other prospectors. People trek hundreds of miles, only to be met with hunger, disease. And in the end, some barely struck the gold pot at all. At the same time, many also struck big, with up to millions of dollars worth of gold. First off, let's observe the growth of population from beginning to end. Starting with merely under 100,000 people, the gold rush reeled in a 310% increase, which increase of over 300,000 people now settled in California. and more to come. So, the reason I consider this a huge frontier is because it boosted this new state, which just came into the Americas due to a conflict. Because of all the immigrants, there is diversity, and there is also cultural shift, economic jump, and also, just as we consider the Industrial Revolution as a pretty big frontier in our history, there is a lot of new innovations in technology, as well as a new market for leather and other inventions to help with the gold mining process. What was the economic impact in California? With the migrants of thousands of people, there also came an economic boom. Whilst many were in search of gold, most had little material to do so. This led to the mass production of leathers such as hats, boots, belts, and other necessities. It also led to the development of new machinery, which led to a new market with high demand, thus high supply. This led to an immediate difference in the overall prosperity of California, thus rising it to one of the larger states in the Americas, despite how young it was compared to other states. Despite the event happening over a century ago, the effects are still noticeable in our America today. Along with this, in California you will find a diverse population, with mainly Hispanics, Mexicans, and Asians. This has obviously occurred due to a large role of the migration for the California Gold Rush. Along with this, you will find cultural aspects that have been brought from these migrations into California. California is still a relevant and quite large state, especially in America's economy. With great response, with great change can come great damage, according to, just me, okay. Well anyways, whilst yes, this led to a prosperous California that in current times continues to thrive, there did come a variety of downfalls that should be discussed along with this topic. The main topic being racism. With immigrants from China and white settlers coming into contact with Native Americans, there is an eruption of conflict. While yes, we previously referenced the lack of racism, whether it be white, black, or brown, it wasn't an easy road to get to that point, and it didn't applicate itself to all of the hundreds of thousands that came to the mines. The other not so relevant topic today has to do with the environmental impact, with lots of forestry and lots of pollution. At the time, people were there for gold, and that was their main goal. With this, there was lots of deforestation due to clearing out land for mines. Along with this, lots of pollution of tools and other items and leathers that were left behind once worn out and no longer useful. The California Gold Rush and the immigrations of hundreds of thousands boosting California's economy and making it the great state it is today, showing the diverse population that can still be noticed and even continues to thrive to this day, is why this is such a huge frontier in our history. Whilst yes, it may just seem like another large migration, there came so many aspects, whether it be the downfall such as deforestation, or just be the development of a new young state in the Americas that has boosted rapidly within a quick period of time due to the percentage of gold that was in this region. It all ties together to lead to a new frontier which has greatly impacted the state we know as California.